Day forward, I became more involved in every part of her life, her school, her friends, her feelings, her dreams. I made sure she always knew she had a voice and someone who would listen. And every time she smiles now, I am reminded that standing up for your child is not about anger or revenge. It is about protection, dignity, and unconditional love. I rang the bell once, then again. Finally, the door opened, and her stepmom stood there with a surprised expression on her face. She tried to smile and ask why I was there so late, but I did not return the smile. I calmly asked where my daughter had been during dinner. She hesitated for a second, then said it was just a misunderstanding, that my daughter probably went outside on her own. I looked into her eyes and knew she was lying. I walked past her into the living room without waiting for permission. My ex-wife stood up from the couch and looked confused. The table was still full of plates and glasses, food half-eaten, proof that dinner had ended only recently. I asked everyone in the room to sit down because we needed to talk. They all looked uncomfortable but obeyed. I stood in front of them and explained exactly what my daughter told me, how she was asked to wait outside, how she sat in the cold, how she cried quietly so no one would hear her, how she felt forgotten and unloved. As I spoke, the room grew silent. Her stepmom tried to interrupt and defend herself, saying she was busy and distracted, saying she did not mean any harm. I raised my hand and told her that being distracted is not an excuse when a child's safety and emotions are involved. I said parenting is not about convenience, it is about responsibility and care. Then I called my daughter on speakerphone and asked her to repeat what happened in her own words. Her voice was shaky but clear. She told them everything honestly. Hearing her speak made my ex-wife lower her head in shame. Tears filled her eyes. The stepmom started crying and apologized repeatedly. I told them that apologies mean nothing without change. I said my daughter would be staying with me for now, and that any future visits would only happen when I was confident she would be treated with love and respect. I made it clear that if anything like this ever happened again, I would involve authorities and lawyers without hesitation. Before leaving, I looked at my ex-wife and reminded her that our relationship may have ended, but our duty as parents never would. I told her that protecting our child should always come before pride, arguments, or new relationships. I walked out of the house feeling heavy but strong. The night air was cold, but my heart was burning with determination. I drove back home slowly, thinking about every moment of my daughter's life, promising myself that she would never feel abandoned again. When I arrived home, she was sitting on the couch wrapped in a blanket, waiting for me. When she saw me, she ran into my arms and hugged me tightly. She whispered, "Thank you for standing up for me. Thank you for believing me. Thank you for not ignoring me." I held her and told her she would always be my priority, no matter what, that no one had the right to make her feel small, forgotten, or unwanted. I told her she was strong, valuable, and deeply loved. That night I stayed beside her until she fell asleep, listening to her steady breathing, watching her peaceful face, feeling grateful that I had chosen action over silence, courage over comfort, and love over fear. Day forward, I became more involved in every part of her life, her school, her friends, her feelings, her dreams. I made sure she always knew she had a voice and someone who would listen. And every time she smiles now, I am reminded that standing up for your child is not about anger or revenge. It is about protection, dignity, and unconditional love.